A judge just ordered the Trump administration to release Mahmoud Khalil on bail. The ruling would end a 3-month detention for the former Columbia University grad student. Khalil is a legal permanent U.S. resident and a new father who played a leading role in anti-Gaza war demonstrations on the Columbia campus last year. Joining us now, MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin and NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley. So, Lisa, tell me a little bit more about this ruling. What does it mean for Khalil?
Well, so first of all, this is an order that he has to be released under the judge's discretion. So we will obviously keep you posted as to when and if he is released today, or if the government seeks a stay of this order and immediately appeals it. But Katie, in the meantime, this judge, Michael Fabriars of the District of New Jersey, had granted an injunction to Khalil last week, finding that the primary reason that the government wanted him kept in detention was not a legal and valid reason that Khalil was likely to succeed on that. That was what we call the foreign affairs exception, where the Secretary of State is allowed to say that he finds that a particular person poses a danger to the United States' conduct of foreign affairs, and therefore, on that basis alone, can be kicked out of the country. Fabriars enjoined that last week, but what he said on the other ground was it's highly unlikely that they would detain him just for having errors in his immigration paperwork. He didn't squarely rule, however, that that was the basis to also release Khalil. And therefore, there was additional briefing in the hearing today. Fabriars finding today that it is not tenable to just detain him on the basis of this paperwork, that he's likely to succeed on that ground as well, and ordering him released in this habeas case that Khalil's lawyers have brought on his behalf.
And he would be meeting his baby for the first time. His wife gave birth after he went into detention.
I have to just say something there. Yeah. He has already met his child. He did so at an earlier point in time, but through a lot of legal wrangling in order to get that in-person meeting.
Okay, well, at home at least.
Yep.
Julia, what might be next for the government in this case? Is there anything that they might try to do to take him back into custody?
Yeah, I think they're going to push for an immigration judge to order him detained by ICE and not give him bond. The reason I think that, Katie, is because the arguments today in court from the Trump administration to this federal court judge were, look, you don't need to rule on this because an immigration judge can do the same thing, and we don't need to exhaust federal resources in order to do that. Kind of a rich argument in some ways because they've been taking a lot of immigration cases to federal court recently. But in this case, they seem to think an immigration judge might rule differently. So that could be their next path. As Lisa said, they could appeal it up. They could try to get a stay on this order, but they could also go into immigration court. I've seen time and time again, right here in federal court in Alexandria, a federal judge saying this person no longer should be in custody, and then ICE can arrest that person right there in the courthouse. And so that could be a scenario that we see play out here. And then his lawyers would have to go to ICE and explain why he should be released on bond.